My name is Cody, and this is Oops, All Video Game Music. Welcome once again. Tonight is Open Skate, which means, at least in this case, there's not a particular theme. I'm just going to be playing some good old video game music, and I do mean old. If you haven't figured out yet, it's mostly retro stuff. I don't play anything very new, only because I'm not familiar with very much new stuff. I'm not opposed to it. And if you have any requests and you're in the live chat, you can send them my way and I'll do my best to play them. Also, you can send us an email, and I'll do my best to play them. So, welcome. Got a lot of stuff to play, as usual. And we're going to start it off. Got one thing we're doing tonight is 3 different songs from the same game, but from 3 different platforms or systems. So let's start off with Zool for Sega Genesis. That was Magic Sword for Super Nintendo. Great music on that game. It was originally an arcade, of course, and the music on that is not so great. Pretty much the same songs, but it was, I think it came out in '89, and there was an issue, apparently, with the drum samples, where there was kind of a delay when they started. So, like, a lot of the songs just sound, the percussion just sounds kind of messed up. Otherwise it would be great, but I think they were still kind of perfecting their samples over there at the Capcom headquarters in Japan. Similar, I think the same kind of drums as on Final Fight and Street Fighter 2, but I think they just, hadn't quite, something went wrong. Oops, all video game music. Anyway, speaking of the arcade Magic Sword, it reminds me of when I was about 13, maybe 14. There was a local arcade place that they had a New Year's Eve lock-in, they called it. And if you don't know, this was a thing. I'm guessing they don't do it anymore, because it seems, in this day and age, seems like a rare condition, to quote the Family Matters theme. Parents would take their kids to a place, and they would stay overnight, and pretty much the plan, the goal, was to stay up all night, or, sleep on the floor at whatever this event or place was. I went to a couple of these. Neither of them were good or fun. One of them was at a church, and that's a whole other story, but my friend with the extremely religious parents, this one was supposed to be at I was sold on this, that it was going to be at a pizza place / arcade, and it turned out it was like some kid's birthday party at the arcade, and then it was like, okay, now we're going to the lock-in, and it was at the church, and there was not one fucking interesting thing to do, and I didn't want to talk to or hang out with any of the other people there. And my friend who invited me hung out with his friends, so I just, it was the most fucking boring night of my life, possibly. Anyway, that was a whole other lock-in, but we got that story out of the way. The lock-in at this arcade that actually was at the arcade, it was assumed and sort of sold to us that you could play the arcade games, on free play or just, unlimited. You paid a price, of course, to go. It was like, I don't remember how much, but like $20 or something, which was a lot of money 30 plus years ago. So they treated it like we were crackheads, and when I think about it, they probably just didn't have enough tokens, because it was, you had to get tokens to play the games. So they would give you like $5 worth of tokens every hour or two or something. So you would just keep running out and then having to wait until, okay, now we're giving out tokens again. You couldn't just go get more. They couldn't just put the stuff on free play, of course, because, that's rocket science. So yeah, it fucking sucked. I was bored. Eventually, I was just trying to lay down on the floor and sleep, and I couldn't because, I'm sitting in an arcade, not able to play the games. Anyway, me and my friend who went with me played Magic Sword Arcade, and if you're not familiar, you get to the end of the game, and the final boss, much like Darth Vader tries to get you to join him, and it gives you like a yes or no. And of course my friend instinctively selected yes, so you get like not an ending after you just beat the game, basically. It just says game over, you're a piece of shit. Paraphrasing, of course. Anyway, that friend, he's now in prison. So, is that surprising? Based on his judgment playing Magic Sword? One of my ex-girlfriends used to point out that every time I would tell a story about him, I would stop and say, my friend, so-and-so, who's now in prison. She pointed out I would always say, who's now in prison. But, I don't know. I think it's an important thing to point out. And if you've been listening to these, you might be starting to learn that I was friends with some fucked up people as a kid. It's certainly not because I was fucked up. Although if you ask those kids' parents at the time, I was fucked up and a bad influence on them. But trust me, I was not. Anyway, just a fun story. Let's get back to the music. I mean, it's not a fun story. That it sucked. This place also had go-karts, and that was also like, assumed that you could do that, and they shut them off at 11 or 10, so you were just literally, it was just a bunch of kids fucking sitting around staring at arcade games that they couldn't play for most of the night. So that was neat. Well, we got a request from Kira, and it's from one of my favorite Nintendo games of all time. I've played it many times. It's Kid Icarus. that was from Contra Legacy of War for PlayStation. It was a game I owned and still own. I probably haven't played it in, well, 20-some years. 25 plus. I talked about, just a little correction here. I think last week I mentioned that I was hesitant to play Contra 3 for Super Nintendo and also Castlevania 4 for Super Nintendo because I was afraid they would not be as good as the 8-bit versions, or, not feel like the same series of games because there were too many buttons to press and all that shit. Of course, I was wrong on both accounts, but I said Castlevania 3, and I meant 4, so, just to correct myself there. But that was the PlayStation Contra, and it was, it was a fun game. It was not enough, like, it didn't feel like a Contra game. And they came out with Castlevania for N64. I never played that. I never owned one of those. Good friend of mine did. I don't know if he ever had that game, but I just saw, like, the commercial for it, and I was like, well, looks like a 3D game, but it doesn't look like it's anything like playing Castlevania, so I was never even interested in it. Now, I could be wrong. It might be great. I don't know. But, anyway. So, let's bring you up to date. Of course, we heard that Contra song there. Before that, we heard Rockman and Forte for Super Famicom. Was not released as what would have been Mega Man and Bass for Super Nintendo because it was 1998 and people were not buying Super Nintendo games, so why would they release it in America? Eventually they released it on Game Boy Advance, and in more recent years, I think on Wii or something, I don't know. They've released it since then, but at the time, in 2001, I remember I was downloading, people were making MIDI files out of video game music, most of which were done very poorly with the wrong notes or, just really not accurate. But someone did a pretty good job of the music from Rockman and Forte, and that song that we heard, Groundman Stage, I thought it was great, and I thought it sounded like possibly the same composer from Street Fighter Alpha, or one of the same composers who did the Ken song, which we heard on a episode a couple of weeks ago. So just based on that, I got online and I bought a cartridge off eBay, and at the time, well, still, I guess, this applies, but you couldn't just take a Super Famicom game and stick it in your Super Nintendo. Oh no. There were people selling adapters, and I was looking into that, and I saw one of these people, I don't know, somehow I figured out one of these people was selling a quote-unquote adapter, but it was like a Game Genie, and somehow I figured out there's like 2 plastic tabs in the Super Nintendo that are there specifically so that you can't do that. So I took a screwdriver and I broke them off, and then I was able to play Rockman and Forte on my Super Nintendo. Now, I couldn't read any of the dialogue, but, it's a Mega Man game, so you can You can kind of figure that shit out, you know? I can't read that Japanese stuff. Although I should probably learn as much as I like the stuff. Anyway. The music on that's pretty good. It's, the music and the visuals are very similar to Mega Man 7, which came out in '95, and we heard some of that music a few weeks ago. Angry Music Man in the chat was guessing it was Mega Man 7, and you were very close, sir. Good guess. Anyway, let's get back to the music. Less talk, more rock, dick and dog in the morning. Classic rock all day. Oh, before we do that, sorry, let's try to keep you up to date here. So that was Rockman and Forte. Before that, Hippodrome, an arcade by Data East. And that was our extended dance remix that I did. Sometimes if there's a song I really like, but it's very short, I'll take and edit it. See, what I do is I take and I edit it and make it a little bit longer. And before that, we had Kid Icarus, request from Kira, the Labyrinth song. That's a game that I would like to play sometime on an episode of Classic Game Night Fridays, another offshoot of this channel. I played the shit out of that game. I feel like I know almost everything there is to know about it. Before that, we heard Magic Sword. You heard all about my Magic Sword stories. Before that was Marble Madness 2. Possibly a Hal Cannon composition. And that was an unreleased game. I don't know why, but at least we have the music from it we can listen to. And before that, we had an arcade called Gunbird. Gunbird, it's from Japan. And I don't know if that was ever released in America. And before that, we had Spin Dizzy 2. So, let's hear some Irem music. We haven't heard much from Irem tonight, if any. So, here's some R-Type Leo. request from BB in the chat. Let's try and take a listen to this. Was the Black Mages with Those Who Fight Further from Final Fantasy VII. Yes, that was a cover. BB requested that. Thanks a lot. I'm actually familiar with them because I have a Pandora account that I occasionally get on, and many years ago, in the early days of Pandora, I did my damnedest to try to get it to play video game music songs, and there were like none. And then eventually there were a few, and that's how I discovered them. And I've heard that on there, but would have not thought to play it on the show, so thanks a lot, BB. Never played that game. Never really played any of the Final Fantasy games. I should, and I've played similar games, but anyway, that was quite enjoyable, and it reminds me, I had a few CDs. I've talked about ordering CDs from Japan online back in the day. Back when you could, it was the internet and you could order CDs online. But Konami put out some albums that their own in-house band covered music from their games. And I had one that they covered a lot of Castlevania stuff and Gradius or Nemesis. It was just a lot of Konami games from Nintendo, but they, sounded very similar to that. Just, really talented guitarists and whatnot. So, thanks for the request. And speaking of Konami, and speaking of Super Castlevania 4, let's hear a tune from Super Castlevania 4 that I enjoy quite a bit, and it's from pretty much the end of the game, toward the end of the game, and you're fighting several bosses in a row, and it's a testament to how good the music is on that game, because, you keep dying and starting over and continuing. And for that to happen, and you're not annoyed by the music permanently, that says a lot. And this is one of those songs.
In the world of roller games, there's room at the top for only one. And there's only one Kansas City Bomber. Raquel Welch is the Kansas City Bomber. And she's the hottest thing on wheels.
Casey, go, 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 Casey, go! Oh, nice! Casey Carr up in front. The Bomber is at it again. Rainbow Fingers and Wallace.
What I'm going to say, I don't want general knowledge. But when I was scouting you, I was looking for someone I can build into a key personality. I just wanted you to know you weren't brought to Portland to be just another figure on the payroll.
Ladies, let's be ladies here.
Hey, listen, big brother, you're a big fat tub of iron. You can't skate any better than you look. Okay, I challenge you to a match race right here next Saturday. Baby, you got it.
This is the world of roller games, where the only thing more dangerous than the competition is some of the fans.
Don't laugh at me!
The infield, though, we have an argument going between Casey Carr and Jackie Burdett. Vivian's trying to get in the middle of it.
You and Jackie can't stay on the same team.
Anytime, any place, Sugar Puss, I can tell you right now, Casey Carver start packing all her bras.
Sooner or later, the two of you are going to have it out with a match race.
A match race? You must be joking, man.
Jackie gets what she wants.
Why, baby, you're a big mouth. How about right now?
You get what you want.
Sure, come on.
I told her that there was only room for one of you on the Portland team, and I didn't care which one.
Who will it be? Will it be Jackie Burdett leaving, or will it be Casey leaving?
Come on.
I know I'm not going to miss it.
I hope you don't think I intended for this to happen.
Didn't you?
Yes.
In the world of roller games, there's room at the top for only one.
That was a trailer for Kansas City Bomber, a roller derby film from the 70s. Now, I edited that a little bit because there was a lot of just crowd noise. And it's funny how trailers were back then. There was not a lot of music in them. But that was Raquel Welch and Kevin McCarthy, who you might know from, I think he was from The Blob, but more importantly, Weird Al's movie UHF. And he's like the coach and or lover of her, because there's a lot of him wearing a robe telling her things in that trailer. So I guess they were, screwing or something. And then the antagonist, I'm just speculating here, I haven't investigated this, but it looks a lot like Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Which, by the way, somebody recently told me they had never seen that, and I was like, you gotta see that, baby. It's always fun for me to tell someone that, because I'm the guy who has not seen anything. Anyway, we're hearing some music from Mr. David Wise. Some bonus David Wise right now. It's not our official David Wise entry for tonight, but it's from California Games for NES, which was developed by Rare and published by Milton Bradley, which seems odd. Yeah, I thought, okay. Yeah, I thought I faded that out, but I guess not. Anyway. I figured if we're gonna, have skating in the title, I said it wasn't gonna be a theme, but had to include that, both those things. And it kind of reminded me, it dawned on me that I dated two different roller derby women. Briefly, both of them. And it was good times. Well, one of them was. The other one was not so good times. I remember I was I had met her and I gave her my phone number, and then I was drinking with my cousin and drinking a lot of beers, and she called me in the middle of that, and I I freaked out. I couldn't believe she was calling me. And I talked to her and set up a date and stuff, and then afterwards I threw up. And I'm kind of like that Jerry Seinfeld. I don't throw up very often, but that was one of the times, so very memorable to me. But that's kind of that's how the rest of that interaction with her went. I was like, I just did not feel worthy. Like I couldn't believe, that she was interested in me, and I was young and acted accordingly to how I felt. And the women, they don't find that too attractive, I found out. Especially the type that do roller derby. But it was a fun experience anyway, you know what I mean? Too much of that new age whole grain bullshit. Anyway, we heard some Super Castlevania 4. Before that, we had a request from BB that we talked about, Black Mages, Final Fantasy VII. Before that, we heard Geki Rinden. I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't think it ever came out in America, but that was an arcade that I have not played but enjoy the music from. Before that was Knuckle Bash, a fighting game that was an arcade also. So, thanks for joining me tonight. I'm still enjoying these quite a bit. We got another request here from Angry Musicman, and it's another good one. So far, you're batting 1,000, Angry Musicman. Now, this is a newer game, obviously, that I've not played. It's, I think it's for Xbox 360 originally, from 2011. And I looked up the pronunciation, but I'm not sure if I'm remembering it correctly, but Eschatos? Yeah, well, let's hear it.
I want a wireless. Wireless. Can't wait. Things great. Wireless. Can't wait. Stop the world. I want to cool down. And wireless got the coolest fruity taste around. Hey! Stop the world. I want a wireless. Wireless.
Well, that was a Weilers commercial. Before that, we heard Zool, Ninja of the Nth Dimension, for Amiga computer. That was our second installment of Zool tonight. Courtesy of Mr. Richard Moranis. Nah, just kidding. But, yeah, you can tell those Amiga sounds if you listen to Amiga music. But Mr. Patrick Phelan did the music for that series of games. He did a pretty good job, I gotta say. The Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis version, they sound pretty similar. I think on Super Nintendo they might have actually used Amiga samples and just ported them over or something, but you'll hear a song later tonight from the Super Nintendo version of Zool, Ninja of the Nth Dimension. Before that, you heard, of course, Blaster Master for Nintendo. In my opinion, one of the best games ever made for Nintendo. I rented that countless times before I eventually bought it. Once I had $7 to purchase it at the flea market, which I also worked at, selling shitty t-shirts. I was thinking about that earlier today, and there was I would just look at these shirts and be like, who the fuck would buy these, much less wear them out in public? And of course, the kind of people who are coming to the flea market was the answer to that. One of them was, it was just, letters on a t-shirt, and it said, sex is only good when it's messy. And messy was in this gross, globby, splattery font. And I was just like, who the fuck is gonna buy this and wear it out in public? But, people did, I guess. And I was there to take their cash and hand them their shirt. Let's get to our weekly Wise. Mr. David Wise composition for the night from Rare Limited. This is a game that I'd like to play the song before I tell you what it is, but hell, I'll just tell you what it is right now. It's Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It was published by LJN, but it was developed by Rare. And I never played it because it was LJN. For Robbie, if you follow the video game nerd. Did we have an internet? Did we have an internet cut out there? I just got a message. Seemed like we did. But, gonna keep going here. Here's some music from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
soundtrack sick. Linda soundtrack sick.
That's nothing new.
She's crazy sick and she doesn't know what she's doing.
Keep your money, have a TV.
It's no money down, no payments till 87 on this wireless remote, cable-ready, beautiful 19-inch TV.
Just keep it.
Get this gorgeous 25-inch NEC stereo TV monitor, just $28 a month, whenever.
Don't pay me.
Wireless remote, cable-ready, VCR, what a deal.
Take it.
NEC Deluxe 4-head HQ VCR, $21 a month.
Have it.
It's no money down, no payments till next year at Soundtrack, but hurry.
That was more from Marble Madness 2 by Atari Arcade, unreleased. Before that, we heard Contra Legacy by Konami, of course. The hit song Linda Soundtrack is Sick. Hope you enjoyed that. And before that, it was Cadillacs and Dinosaurs by Capcom. It's an arcade. A request from Kira. That was a good one. I made a mix CD for myself back in the day. I had a vehicle that played CDs, so I would burn arcade music, or, you know, video game music, mostly arcade, to CDs and listen to it while I was driving. And that was one of them, I remember. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Probably still have that CD somewhere. Well, thanks for listening, folks. We're still going. I'm having fun. And thanks for the requests. Got another song here. We've played a couple of remixes, and this is another one that I did. Combination of a couple of songs from an arcade game. I think it's by Taito, or Taito. Let's give it a listen. It's called Metal Black. That was a game called Metal Black by Taito, or Taito. It's Taito. I just, I grew up in Oklahoma, and we said Taito. But I'm pretty sure now I know it's Taito, so I'm going to say it correctly. I forgot to mention, we heard another song from Marble Madness 2, unreleased game. Before that. And let's hear a song from Capcom. NES game that I feel is kind of misunderstood. Angry Video Game Nerd did a video about this, and I pretty much agreed with everything he said. I played this game. I felt like it was my obligation. I played it on New Year's Eve, 2009, going into 2010. Street Fighter 2010, The Final Fight, and of course, the title is interesting because the arcade Final Fight was originally going to be Street Fighter 2, and I guess they were like, you know what, this isn't anything like Street Fighter 1, so maybe let's, make a game where you're actually fighting against one person. But, it's a very interesting Nintendo game. It seems kind of similar to Strider for NES. It's extremely difficult. Unbelievably difficult. And if you want to know why, just watch AVGN. I experienced this back in the day, renting the game. And then later, like I said, on New Year's Eve, I was like, I'm going to beat this game going into 2010. I'm going to beat Street Fighter 2010. Spoiler alert, I didn't. Because it's goddamn ridiculous. But here's a fun song. I love the music from this game. It's one of those games, almost every song, I love the music. Well, we heard some Desert War arcade, and then we heard some Shadow of the Ninja for the NES. Thanks for listening, folks. Now let's hear some Zool for SNES. Thanks for listening tonight. Love you a lot. And I've got to say, it was always something that I wanted to do. I wanted to play video game music as a DJ. And I'm doing it now, and it's a lot of fun. So thanks for being here and listening. And thanks for your requests. If I didn't get to your request tonight, I'll get to it next time. I promise. And I love you a lot. I'd like to fancy you if at all possible. And until next time, tickle to bash.